If we take a look at the Star Wars films only within the main storyline, it seems that a lot of plot holes arise because of the creation of the prequels.
Oops.
But the question really is, are these plot holes at all? And does it matter to the overall story? I plan on making a few videos on this topic along with Blue Bantha Milk Co, who also creates some great Star Wars content as well, so go check those guys out. And I personally will be starting with a commonly discussed Star Wars plot hole, which would be why Darth Vader doesn't recognize C3PO in the original trilogy, primarily in The Empire Strikes Back. After all, C3PO is the android that Anakin Skywalker put back together, as well as the droid who was present at his wedding and in the services of his wife Padme. So first, I want to give my answer to if this is a plot hole. The answer is no. Vader in the original trilogy not recognizing C3PO is not a plot hole at all. And here's why. Protocol droids. They've been in circulation for at least 33 years movie-wise, if we consider the fact that young Anakin found the carcass of a protocol droid before the events of The Phantom Menace. We also know that protocol droids themselves have various shades of plating like silver, gold, and dark gray. And to add to this, the Star Wars galaxy most likely has manufactured billions of this exact protocol droid. They all look the same. Throughout each prequel film, C3PO changes his appearance over time, from exposed wires to gray plating and then to gold plating. And while C3PO eventually went on to be in the service of Padme Amidala as mentioned earlier, after she dies, C3PO goes into the service of Bail Organa.
This is madness.
Overall, he's bounced around quite a bit. From that point on, Anakin, who fell to the dark side, becoming Vader, had not seen C3PO in over 20 years. And considering that 3PO was in pieces in the scene with Vader on Cloud City, why would he assume that the protocol droid before him was the one that he had put back together on Tatooine as a boy?
What about that Legends comic?
Don't worry, I'll discuss the comic at the end. One could argue that perhaps C3PO had a unique voice modulator as compared with other protocol droids, so hearing him speak while Han was frozen in carbonite might have let Vader realize, hey, this is the droid that I made when I was a kid. But that's a wild assumption to make based on what we have seen in the films themselves. Nowhere throughout the original trilogy is Vader made explicitly aware that the protocol droid helping the rebellion is even named C3PO. And lastly, we can also argue that because Vader is a significantly different person who has stuffed the remnants of whatever the hell is left of Anakin deep within himself, identifying with his past or anything connected to it most likely is something that Vader avoids at all costs. In regards to the potential that this also hurt the logic of the story overall, no, it honestly doesn't in the slightest, because as I just pointed out, this isn't a hole in the plot. If anything, it's just a plot convenience that 3PO was made by young Anakin. It's just kind of a way to arbitrarily connect it all. So while I think it's clear why this isn't a plot hole and never will be, there is that Legends comic from 2010 which actually explains away this supposed plot hole. At its core, it explains to us that Vader did know that it was C3PO on Cloud City, and as I said, the primary point of a lot of newer comics in general, including Legends, were to explain details which often felt overlooked or simply didn't make sense in the films. It's why one of the newest comics in Star Wars canon ended up explaining what happened to Anakin's lightsaber after Vader chopped off Luke Skywalker's hand in The Empire Strikes Back. So there you have it. Vader not realizing it was C3PO within the confines of the movies themselves is not, nor it will ever be, a plot hole. And it never hurt the narrative logic of Star Wars at all. But thanks to the makers, we do now have a story regarding Vader knowing it was C3PO the entire time. Is it superfluous? Absolutely. But like I said, I love stories that humanize Darth Vader. So I hope you dig this episode of Does It Matter? And again, this is a collaboration between my channel, Blue Bantha Milk Co, and hopefully many others to come. And we're all going to be digging deep into the things that fans obsess over, like plot holes, contradictions, and nitpicks, and we're just going to ask, does it even matter? So may the force be with you, and AT-AT is signing off.